let's make some cashew cream. Now this is a recipe that I find I'm using a little bit of in so many other recipes. So I want to actually show you how to do this efficiently and how to make sure that it's something that can easily be on hand as a staple, that you can put into anything. You can even turn this into its own dip just by adding some fresh herbs, some special flavors that you like, maybe even some mashed sweet potato or something that you've got, some baked pumpkin. So anything like that can be added in to create these amazing flavors and just have it as a dip on its own. We're going to use it to thicken our stroganoff. We're going to use it to thicken our shepherd's pie. You can, honestly, the uses are endless. Sometimes I even just spread it on toast for breakfast with my avocado, a little bit of tomato, some sprouts, something like that. But it's a very versatile thing to use, and it's extremely good for you as well, as far as the wonderful, delicious nutrients inside a cashew. And it's simple. So all we need is lemon juice, cashews, and water, and a good blender. Now, ideally, if you've had a chance to soak your cashews first, that would be best. It's a process called activation, and without getting into all the detail there, it helps make them a lot more digestible, and it actually makes the job of the blender a little bit easier too. So we're going to grab your nice powerful blender, or whichever blender that you've got, and even if it's not a super power blender, you can always just blend for a little bit longer and try to get any of the last little bits of lumps out of there. So like I said, I'm making a really big batch of this because I've got so many other uses for it. It should generally keep about 4, maybe 5 days in the fridge. So if you can think of a way to use it in that time, I would recommend making a double or triple batch. And sometimes that can even make the blending down and this making it smooth in the blender a lot easier, because by having that extra amount of volume, the blender actually behaves a bit better. So we're going to put a bit of lemon juice. You can go by taste here. This is what I call a very neutral cashew cream. So we can actually take this and turn this into an icing for a cupcake or for a cake as well, if we don't add anything too savory into this just yet. Now the trick here is only to add as much liquid as you need to get that to blend down and to be smooth in the blender. So we're going to start with much less than we think we need to let that start blending down. And then just add as little as you can so that you keep a nice thick cashew cream, and then you have a bunch of options if you need to dilute it or make it more liquidy afterwards. All right, so we're going to need, ideally if your blender has a stick like this that we can help the mixing, let's make use of that, and let's turn it on and blend. Now, depending on how much cashew you've used, you may need to blend for, say, a minute, minute and a half, possibly even 2 minutes, just to let all the little lumps and chunks kind of come out of that. And we could even take this possibly a little bit further. So as you can see there, we can get this smoother. We can definitely get this to be creamy so that there's no little bumps in there. This is just me being pedantic because I love a really smooth, creamy cashew cream. At this point, it is definitely good to go, and especially in something like the stroganoff or a shepherd's pie, just to make it creamy. Even in making creamy soups or other casseroles that you're making, this is a great non-dairy alternative to be getting that nice, rich creaminess that we might miss from being able to add cream to it. So I'm going to take this a little bit further, make it a little bit smoother, but I'm not going to add any extra liquid because we've got enough and I don't want to make it too runny. So let's just blend a little bit longer on high and get it as smooth as we can. Okay, so even those couple of extra minutes, and look how much smoother we have. It's worth that extra little bit of time, in my opinion, to get that really smooth, velvety looking cashew cream. So easy. And then we just need a good little spatula to get use of all of this precious cream. Not wasting a little bit of it. Once you start playing around with this, you'll find just how many uses you can make it into. And some of my favorites include chocolate icing, even just having it as a dessert with a little bit of, you could blend in a couple of dates into this and just have it as a dessert, bit of vanilla with some fresh fruit. But there we have our cashew cream. If you happen to have extras left over before it goes off in the fridge and you just can't use it up, freeze it. And then you can take it out of the freezer, let it thaw out, and worst case scenario, you just have to give it another little quick blend just to incorporate everything back together again. But do not let it go to waste. And there we have it, cashew cream.